Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Grateful Wounds podcast. I'm your host, Tanasha Allwood. I'm super excited for this episode. I have with me Courtney Parker. And Courtney, she's going to introduce herself in just a moment. But if you are new to this platform, again, I just want to remind you that it's a storytelling platform where I share my personal journey about healing, transformation, empowerment, and dealing with the incarceration of a loved one. If you haven't listened to episode 1, please go and check that out. You will leave after listening to that. You will be inspired. But today's episode, we are going to be talking about mental health and therapy in the Black and Brown community. So, without giving away too much, Miss Courtney, can you introduce yourself to all of our listeners?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me as a guest. I have been looking forward to this ever since we met at Miss Ariva Martin's event in
Yeah.
Beverly Hills a few weeks ago. So thank you. I am honored and I feel so fortunate to be here. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist here
Yes.
in California. And I work with mostly couples. I do one-on-one work. I work with families as a group. I don't work with children necessarily. So I would say couples is my lane. I love helping people navigate relationships and helping them work on their communication and everything that makes their core as strong as possible.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm a true advocate for therapy. I've been married before, went through some couples therapy back in the day. So I'm an advocate for the work that you do. In every healing journey, there comes a moment in time where you realize you just can't carry the load on your own. I know for me that came during a time where I was dealing with the incarceration of my son, which I do share on the previous podcast. At first, I wasn't sure about therapy. I kind of questioned it, and then I got to a point where I'm like, you know what, I really need some help. So overall, what I discovered was that therapy can actually change your life in ways that you never imagined. So my first question to you is, what inspired you to become a therapist?
Well, I've been a therapist my whole life, my mother tells me.
Okay.
I counsel my friends, I support them. I was the listening ear even as young as really early elementary school. In middle school, I became a peer helper. It was a whole thing where you had to interview in front of the head of the school and the drama teacher, and my peers would put a letter in the mailbox to say what they were going through, and then we would have a conversation privately after school once or twice a week. So if you continue into high school and even college, my nickname was Mom. People
Mom.
came to me because I was like the mom. I'm not a drinker. So I was the one who would pick up and drop off quite literally, even in undergraduate school, because people could depend on me. They
Yes.
told me things and they never worried that what they shared, I would share with someone else because I never, ever, ever wanted anyone to think that I would talk out of turn and misrepresent whatever they shared with me in confidence. So I've been doing this forever. But what really brought me to this was the lowest point in my life.
Okay.
And the lowest point in my life was when I got a divorce and I became a single mother of about an 8-week-old baby and a 24-month-old. And I I needed to figure something out for myself. I cried for a year. I called my very best friend Cami every single day for about 12 months and I couldn't speak. I had no words. And she would say, just cry.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And at the end of the phone call, we'd hang up and I said, I need to be that for someone.
Yeah.
I need to be there to carry someone else's burden and let them know that they're not alone because I couldn't believe that I was in that situation.
Yeah.
And that was why I decided to take this path.
I love it. I love that story. Especially the part about just allowing you to just cry. Like,
Yes.
when it's so many people, I've been through some things in my life, and it's just like when I do reach out and you tell me it's okay, you can just cry, like it's like, oh my gosh, like that's all I needed to
That's
hear.
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
So
There,
that, go ahead.
therapy, I'm sorry, therapy is not magic.
Yeah.
Therapy is a safe space to put your things.
Yeah.
Therapy is a place where you bring something that's been heavy for you and I help you carry it. And I want, the world is so judgmental. The world is so heavy. The world will try to knock you down and make you think that you're worth nothing. So when you come into my space, I
Yes.
want you to feel like the king and the queen who you were meant to be.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I want.
I love that. I'm getting, girl, you giving me goosebumps over here.
Listen, you're getting goosebumps. I'm getting teary eyed. I'm like, oh my gosh, do not cry, Courtney. Do not cry. Because I'm a crier. I'm a
Like,
crier.
you and I both. Why do you think that, why, in your opinion, why do you believe, so many people like in our community, the Black and Brown community, why do you think they wait until there's a crisis before they actually go and seek therapy?
Because it's not normalized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period. It
Yeah.
says you're weak. My grandmother, my paternal grandmother told me, that's so cute what you do, but you need to go to God.
Yeah. Ooh,
She
girl.
told me what I do is cute.
Yeah.
Cute. And you know what? I'll say this. I love my father, but he
Yes.
has the same mentality. My father was born in Louisiana, but he was raised in Compton. Okay.
Okay.
And he was like, girl, that job is really sweet, but
Yeah.
that is not a job. I mean, I think he's evolved. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't come for my daddy. I'm not going to give his socials on here. You not come for my daddy. But,
Right.
it's taken him a minute to get on board with
Yeah.
the idea that what I do is necessary.
It's so funny that you mention this because, like, I grew up with my stepdad and my mom. My stepdad is Jamaican, and my mom, she's African American. But our household, they didn't teach us about therapy, mental health. Anytime we had a problem dealing with the matter of the heart, like, we just swept it under the rug. I kid you not. We just didn't talk about things. And so growing up, where it was felt like, you couldn't process your feelings and the shame and just all the things. And now coming into my own, where I'm like, you know what? No, it's okay. I can see a therapist. Like
Yes,
I'm,
yes, yes.
it's okay. I'm not ashamed. I'm okay with it. So, I just love what you said, about your parents, because for so long it's ingrained, like for me,
Yes.
it's ingrained in me to think, therapy was a bad thing, but it's evolved. Would you say, agree with that statement that, there are a lot of people out there who think that there's a stigma around therapy, but I think it's evolved over the years. Would you agree, or?
Think that there's been some evolution, but I think that there's still plenty work to be done.
Yes.
I spend a great deal of my time literally on Hollywood Boulevard and any other place that I've found where I can park myself, post my name and what I do. I have a little microphone. I might have shared that with you when we met, and I'm just talking about the importance of mental health care,
Yeah.
period, but particularly within the Black community. And
Yeah.
my message is, if you are human, then you should go to therapy. It's not because there's something broken in you. It's because there is something fundamentally broken in this world. And if you're living in it, then you would be a beneficiary of therapy. Like it would be beneficial to you. I
Yeah.
I made a post on YouTube, so something, and I said, if you have a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a child, a job, a car, a mortgage, then you should go to therapy. This world is crazy and it will try to tear you down. You're not the problem. You live in a world that is problematic. So go put your stuff somewhere.
Yes. Yes. I love all of that. What do you think is the difference between being strong and being emotionally healthy? Because all my life I was told, "Oh, you're so strong, you're so strong, you can handle it, you can do it." But for me, there comes a point, it's like, No, I'm not strong. I can't handle it. So, what is there a difference between being strong and emotionally healthy?
I think the problem is that people equate strength to not needing help.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional health comes from asking for help, seeking support, knowing that your strength is in numbers.
Yeah.
It takes a village. That to me is everything. I
Yeah.
have a village that is built around me. My hair, my nails, my skincare, my personal training, my acting coach, my mentors, my parents. All of this, it takes a village. So if you think you can do this life by yourself, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You know,
that's not strength.
yeah, that's not strange. I'd never heard it put like that, and I love that. I love thinking about it like that, you know. We need a village. We need that support system. So,
Yes.
especially for anyone who's listening, if you're going through something, whether it be a divorce or what have you, like surround yourself with a community of people who will support you because you definitely need that village.
Yes.
Um, what do you feel like is like when people are in these times of discord in their life and they maybe they don't realize the signs that they might need some therapy. Talk to me about signs. Like what are signs that you might want to consider getting some help?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want you to wait until your check engine light comes on.
Right.
And I don't think that signs are obvious. I think sometimes it's you notice that you're more tired than
Mm,
usual. It
yeah.
might be that you're not accepting invitations to go out, or you're not offering invitations for people to come in. I
Yes.
think that that it could be incredibly subtle what it is that you're experiencing. I don't, because if I say that, you have to be crying every single day and
Yeah.
unable to get out of bed, well then you're definitely waiting too long. But if
Yeah.
you just don't feel like yourself, I remember when my kids were super little, and one time it was clear that they were getting strep throat or something like that, ear infection, strep throat, and
Okay.
they were just lethargic. They weren't really like in bed, but they weren't running around and playing like they normally did. And I said, what, let's just go to the pediatrician just to be safe. Let's just check. And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It can be mild. If you just feel slightly out of sorts, I don't want the messaging to be that in order to need to talk to someone, you
Yeah.
need to be broken. How about this? How about if you just want to talk to somebody because you don't want to tell your friends, you don't want to tell your family, you just want to keep it between you and someone who is legally bound to keep their lips shut.
Yes. Yes. Neutral
That's
third.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I love it. I love it. Um, Healing versus surviving. Is there a difference between healing and surviving? Because,
Yeah, I mean, surviving to me means you're just getting through.
yes,
And healing means that you're growing. Healing means that there is evolution. Healing is something that you're learning, you're experiencing, shedding,
yes,
going, letting go of something, improving, elevating, glow up, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
It's shedding something that's no longer meant to be a part of your world.
yeah,
Getting through, you can get through and survive something. You can stay in a relationship that's no good for you and survive, but that
right.
doesn't mean you've done the healing. I say every single day that I'm working, at some point, as long as your hand is on the fire, then you can't heal.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. Gosh, girl, you have so many insights, so much wisdom here.
Hey, I do this for real.
You
Like,
do.
I think I might, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, you well, I mean, for so long, I was just in that survival mode of just dealing with what I was dealing with. But I got to a point in my life where I'm like, you know what? I need some help. I went and sought, the help of a therapist. And now I'm truly can say to anyone listening, I'm on that journey of healing and growing. I'm able to share my story. So all of what you're saying is just so important and you feel it, right? You feel it. It's like, oh, I'm not just surviving. Like I'm
Yes.
healing and I can talk about it. So I love
Yes.
all that. Um, let's see. The other question I had for you was, we talk about therapy in the Black and brown household. Um, what message, if let's say 1 million people were listening to us right now today, what message about mental health would you want to tell them? It could be even just, because you deal with couples. What message would you want them to hear from you today as they embark on this journey of taking care of their mental health?
Make it yours.
Mm-hmm.
Make it yours. A good therapist will meet you where you are.
Yes.
When I meet people who've never been to therapy or who have and didn't have a good experience, I say, listen, you are my boss. You are my boss. You tell me how things are going. You enter one way and you want to leave another. And
Okay.
even if it's ever so slight, every single time that we say goodbye, I hope that you have let go of something or brought something into your world that feels better than before. And it's yours.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love the part about meet someone where they are. I was on a panel yesterday talking about mental health, and there was a lady in the audience who asked, um, she's, I don't know if she was referring to her, but she stated that she had a friend who was in a relationship and the person didn't want to go to therapy, but she was on her, or she or her friend was on their healing journey and was going to therapy. What advice would you give to them if the person they're with, dating, married, etc., didn't want to participate in therapy? And I said, meet them where they are, meet them where they are and encourage them ever so, lightly, but don't stop your journey. Like
Yeah.
keep going forward, keep getting the help you need. Eventually, hopefully, pray about it and maybe they'll come along. But my first words were definitely try to meet them where they are. Would you give any other advice to a scenario like that?
I think that therapy is so personal.
Yes.
And like anything else, if you're not ready, then you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I am not let me tell you, I've gotten some bad reviews out there in the on the internet because I'm unwilling in couples work to force someone into anything. Or I'm not forcing anybody in any situation, but when there's a clear there's one person who's clearly invested and
Uh-huh.
one person who isn't, my job and my goal is not to try to convince anyone. If you don't want to be here, then you
Mhm.
should not be here.
Yeah.
I can't make that choice for you. That's something that is very personal. And so what I don't like is for the person who wants the change to
Yeah.
try to coerce the other into their own agenda. And I will not participate in that. So
Okay.
my message is, if you want to go to therapy and you're part of any relationship, mother, father, relationship, dating, whatever, if that person who you want to go to therapy with doesn't want to go, let
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You go. You work on what you need to work on, and they need to know, and you need to know that we don't know what will happen as a result. But you
Right.
but you do what you need to do.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That truly is it. So, yeah. Period.
Yeah. Period.
Right. Um, this is more of a personal question because as I'm going through my healing journey and, out here in this dating world, um,
Yes.
what would you say to me? Do you encourage me or people who might be in a similar boat to, you meet someone, you want to tell them some things you're going through and you're prioritizing your therapy. Do you encourage them to like bring up the subject matter right away, or do you just kind of ease into it? I'm just curious on your thoughts on that.
I think it's a personal preference. I
Hmm.
think everybody is so different. I think that you have to share information at your pace, at your speed.
Yeah.
I like to share because I'm a sharer by
Yeah.
nature. But it's also sometimes gotten me in trouble because I've given too much to the wrong audience.
Gotcha.
So I hope that you're around people who mean you nothing but
Good.
goodwill,
Yeah.
and that you're safe to share. But I think it's very personal. People ask me all the time things like, "When should I do this? How do should I?" kiss this person now? Can I have, sex with this
Yeah.
person now? What can
Yeah.
I share? What can I not share? It's just a personal preference. And you read the room, honey. I say that all the time. Read the room, feel the energy, and go with what feels right and appropriate to you.
It. I love it. So I know we're getting ready to wrap up. This has been a wonderful session, in my opinion, talking
Same.
about therapy in the Black and Brown community. My special guest, Miss Courtney Parker. How can we find you on social media and give us, any last words of encouragement, in terms of therapy or anything you want to share?
Yes, of course. So on YouTube, which is my favorite, you
Yes.
can find me there. And I am Courtney the Therapist. So simple, Courtney the Therapist.
Okay.
And on TikTok, I am Courtney the Therapist. So I had to add an extra E because
Okay.
somebody else is already Courtney the Therapist. So yes. Now on Instagram, I actually just have a fun family page with my two daughters, and you
Okay.
can find me there. Our name is Sydney, like the city in Australia,
Okay.
Ami, which is spelled A-M as in Mary E, and then La La Land for California. So Sydney, Ami, La La Land is where you can find us in our fun, quirky, funny, not related to therapy necessarily, though I do post about it, our
Yes.
Instagram. Yes.
I love it. And then any final words before I close this out? Because this has been a great session.
It's been wonderful, and I really appreciate this. My message is love yourself. Do
Hmm.
everything you can to pour into yourself, and don't make excuses for yourself and why you don't deserve to have everything that you could possibly want, that you could possibly need. Tomorrow is not promised, so
Yes,
I'm not postponing anything.
I love that. I love that. Awesome. Well, for all my listeners again out there, if there's one thing I hope you take away from this conversation is that seeking help is not a sign of weakness, it's actually wisdom. Prioritize your mental health because it does matter and you do deserve the support. Thank you again for listening to the Grateful Wounds podcast. This has been your host, Tanasha Allwood. And remember, at the end of the day, count it all joy because our greatest wounds could very well be those that lead us to our purpose. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.